We're now joined by the University of Texas Longhorn head coach Karen Aston and her three student athletes, Sugg Sutton, Danny Williams, and Jatari White. Coach, your thoughts about the game?
It was hard fought. I definitely told our players in the locker room that it was really kind of just a gut check on our part. If you look at the stats, we probably shouldn't have won. But I thought we came together as a group really in the final quarter, and in particular the last minutes, defensively locked in a little bit better than we had during the game. But a lot of credit to TCU as far as how hard they played. I thought they played with a little more urgency maybe than we did today in a lot of areas. But credit to our team that they were able to gut this one out. Proud of them.
Okay, we'd like to take questions for our student athletes first, if you will, and then we'll let them go back to the locker room. We got a question on the left. Rick?
Rick Hand to the Austin American-Statesman. Should you're down 6, fourth quarter, look like that's when you wanted to take command. It's not the first time you did it. Was that your mindset?
Yeah, I struggled a little bit in the beginning of the game, but my teammates, they picked me up the whole game, and I just told them I was going to pick them up in the fourth quarter, so we all came together in the fourth quarter. I don't think it was just me. It was a team effort. We all came together as a team, and we finished the game out.
Janae Adams, Big 12. So you guys had, like, a lot of fans there. Did it feel like, did you guys feed off the energy,
Our fans, we think our fans are the best fans in America. So we're very happy that they come to our games and they come out and support, and we just really go out and play for them, and they do a really good job of helping us through the bad, lifting us up and all that, and we listen to that. So thank you to our fans.
Colin Post, TCU 360. Danny, you had obviously a great game. You had a step back three, really too late in the game. It kind of felt like you just really could hit from anywhere. Could you talk about the game you had today and where you just felt like you couldn't miss?
I just want to give credit to my teammates. We played them on Tuesday, and TCU guarded me really well, so I just had to go back and look at a film. But my teammates were putting me in good positions to score.
Got a question on the side, and then we'll come back over on this one.
Towards the end of the game, just talk about the conversations that were in the huddles.
We were just really believing in each other, we would be down and we just said one stop. And we were just so positive, and I think really that's what got us through the game. We were so encouraging of each other. Somebody make a mistake, we pick them back up. And really it was our heart that got us through that game.
Danny, I think you had 2 points last week against the same team. What did you discover on film that applied itself today?
On Tuesday, they were being really aggressive with me, trying to beat me to spots on the screens. And so just taking that personal and really trying to drive more. I know a lot of people are going to come at me, so that's kind of how I got myself going, is driving. And like I said, my teammates were creating, giving me the ball, and good opportunities.
Jatari, obviously Jordan Moore is a huge threat for TCU. You guys were able to shut her down tonight for the most part, and she was dealing with foul trouble. You played a huge part in that. Can you talk about what went into that and how you guys were able to stop such a force on TCU?
I think going into the game, I made sure that I caught her early, making sure that I forced her to her left hand, and making sure that I beat her to spots, not fouling, because that's what I did last game. I fouled too much in the second half, so I made sure that I walled up. And my teammates did a really good job of kind of stunning and making sure that she passed the ball out. So I think that's what really helped throughout the game.
Shug, I thought maybe the play of the day was you were up 2. You steal the ball near midcourt, make it a 4-point game, and they came close. But can you take us through that play, what you saw, how it developed, and when you jumped in?
I know we huddled up before we got on the court, and the energy just went through me, and I told myself I was going to get a steal. Like, I knew. I was like, I'm going to get a steal, and I went out there, and she threw her body at me, and I just went out there and got the ball, and it happened. So I just fed off the team's energy, and I just did what I needed to do.
Anything further for our student athletes?
A big game tomorrow, Jatari, Iowa State. Talk about the what do you expect from them? Because you beat them there, they beat you in your place. What do you expect from Iowa State?
I expect a really good game. They're a really good team. And I think we're going back to the hotel knowing we're getting our heads straight and making sure that we come out tomorrow and we play our hardest. We make sure we play to their tendencies and play with more energy and more effort.
Okay, ladies, we're going to let you all go back to the locker room. Congratulations on the win, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Questions for Coach? Got a question on the front?
Deja Harrison, the Big 12 coach, you know, the game was close the whole time, 17 lead changes. Just tell me, what did your team do in order to get this win? What did they do good?
I thought that, first of all, they got a little more aggressive offensively when we got to the foul line. So I thought that enabled us to get our defense set. Probably the biggest problem we had tonight was getting our defense set. And there were some times that I subbed some young players in, different combinations, and we weren't good. We weren't good in transition defense. We didn't know who we had. We lost Kiana Ray, which we know better than after the third time of playing them not to lose her. She had a big night, in particular in the second quarter, the second half. But I thought that the biggest difference was just them buckling down again and getting whether we were switching screens, not switching, a little bit more of a connection than what happens in transition defense sometimes. Again, we struggled at times trying to figure out who we had in transition, but I thought they kind of locked in the last 5 minutes of the game.
Colin Post, TCU 360. Coach, you guys obviously beat TCU in Fort Worth on Tuesday. What do you have to say to your team this week, to coming off of a hard-fought win, to play the same team again to start this Big 12 championship?
Yeah, this is the first time I've experienced this, and it is different, to turn around a couple of days later and play the exact same team. So you don't overanalyze too much. You start to look at things that you could have done differently, and in particular against their zone. I anticipated what we saw in the first half, which was a lot of zone, because we had a little bit of trouble with it in the second half against them. And I anticipated transition defense problems, which reared its ugly head again for us. And we're obviously a work in progress. I hate to say that in March, but we do have problems in the middle of games with getting back and getting matched up. But it was one of those games where you really just wanted them to know that TCU was going to have a real sense of urgency. Playing somebody for the third time and being in the situation where they're trying to get as many wins as they can for their resume, which I must say that I think they are an NCAA qualifier. I think we are a good enough league that we should have 6 teams in. I'm not quite understanding where all of that's coming from, that we're not strong enough to have 6 teams in. I think you can watch the quality of play between a 3 and a 6 seed and see that they should be in the tournament. So I hope that that's a reflection of what people watched tonight.
Further questions for Coach?
Janae Adams, Big 12. So TCU leads in turnovers and steals. So what was, in general in the Big 12? So what was your strategy coming into this, so you can eliminate that?
Well, definitely against the zone, we knew that it was important to try to get the ball in the center of the floor. I thought the thing that we did better this time than in Fort Worth on Tuesday was we penetrated the zone a little bit more. Up there, we sort of our guards stood with the ball up over their head. I thought we did a better job getting in gaps and seams, much better than we did. But our composure actually has been pretty good in all of the games against them, which is ironic because they do force a lot of turnovers, and they depend on those turnovers, to get some open court layups, live ball turnovers. So we preach that all week, is just, don't hand them layups.
Coach, obviously I talked to Jatari about stopping Jordan Moore, and you guys did a great job of that tonight. Whenever she's not playing well, but then Amy Okonkwo starts to really pick up the pace, especially in that second half, does your game plan have to switch there, or are you sticking to what you started with?
Well, we tried the best that we could to give Okonkwo some different looks defensively. because she was pretty much scoring it with whoever had her assignment. But I thought the switch that we made to put Danny Williams on her, actually Danny, I think, asked if she could guard her for a few trips just to give a different look, was a positive one. It enabled our bigs to kind of help in a different way. But as far as Jordan Moore is concerned, she's a fantastic player, and I mean, you have to kind of keep a big on her. And what happened today was what I kind of expected, which was for other players on their team to step up, and they did that, and that's what made the game so difficult for us, is that we gamble on a couple of matchups to help on Jordan Moore, and that didn't go so well for them maybe on Tuesday, but I thought that the players that we gambled off of stepped up tonight for them, and it put us in a bit of a dilemma with the other players.
Anything final for question? Okay, we'll let Rick ask one more question, and then we'll cut it off. That's all right.
Did you have any personal sit down with Danny after last week's TCU game? You know, she played poorly, and I'm sure she beats herself up sometimes. And for her to come out 6 days later and play like this, do you have any role in that?
No. I would like to take credit for that, but I think she's a competitor, and she knew that she didn't play her best. And one thing about it is that she's a bit of a gym rat in a sense of she's going to watch film and she's going to take in what you have to say. We did watch a lot of film on that game just to make some subtle adjustments offensively, and I think she took it to heart that if everybody's going to play her like that, she's got to make some adjustments. And that was a conscious effort on her part. I mean, it's a competition now, every day, and sometimes it's just a competition to get open. But you have to do it if you're going to help your team win.
Okay, Coach, congratulations on the win. We will see you
Thank you.
tomorrow.